This story concerns Pete Buttigieg. This is about Pete Buttigieg. And first part of this clip, I just kind of thought was more more mawkish, sentimental nonsense. But the second part of this clip, and it's only a minute long, second part of it, I think Pete Buttigieg nailed it. I don't agree with Pete Buttigieg on a lot. I don't agree with many of his policy ideas. I don't think we need more centrism. I don't think his healthcare plan would work because it wouldn't. For a healthcare plan, an extensive universal healthcare plan to work, you need everybody in the pool. You need young people, old people, healthy people, sick people. You need everybody in the pool because then it's just organized on the national level and it drives down the cost for everybody. And that's what pretty much every industrialized nation in the world has. And it works. Here in the United States, we don't have that. And if you had a system where people could have the option, buy into it if they want to, and then still allow the private insurance industry to exist, well, it's going to be fragmented. And you're going to have mostly sick people trying to buy into it. Then it wouldn't work. And then people would say, see, it doesn't work. And it would just be scrapped again. And to people that say, oh, well, Pete Buttigieg has his plan. And it's not just Pete Buttigieg. There's other centrists that share that plan or something similar. You know, well, Pete Buttigieg has that plan because he knows that people don't want a sharp change. They don't want like a huge, which is just nonsense that the media feeds us, first of all. Second of all, they say, oh, well, you know, people were upset when Obamacare got rolled out because it was such a big change all at once. No, people were upset about Obamacare, which, by the way, was Romney Care. They were upset about that because they thought they were going to be able to afford their health care or afford health care in general, and they still couldn't. Why? Because the insurance industry was still at the table. That's why people didn't like Obamacare. That's why people were outraged about Obamacare. Not because there was such a big change all of a sudden. That's not why people had a problem with Obamacare. People had a problem with Obamacare because they still couldn't afford their health care. Okay? So that's why I do not like Pete Buttigieg's plan. I don't think it's a good plan. And I bring all this up because when I made a video about Pete Buttigieg before, and I said, hey, some of you people who are Pete Buttigieg fans and you get really upset about the fact that I sometimes like to say his name like Count Chocula, and I say Pete Buttigieg, which is a thing from both of our generations. You know, instead of doing that, tell me one of his policies you like. And some of you guys did, which kudos to you. Disagree with you a bunch, but I applaud you for at least saying, hey, I like his healthcare plan better because I don't think we can handle a sharp change all at once and all this. No, that's why Pete Buttigieg's plan wouldn't work. It doesn't get everybody in the poll. For a national universal healthcare plan to work, you need everyone in the poll. All right, so anyway, but here's somewhere where I think he kind of nails it at the second part here. So here we go. Let's listen to this.
Sanders-Warren approach is that it can polarize Americans when we have other ways to deliver bold solutions without dividing the American people further. My difference with the vice president is that I also don't think promising that we're going back to normal is going to be a message that'll hit.
Okay, so wait, all right. So that first part was just nonsense. Oh, the Sanders and Warren, they're just going to divide people further. Having bold ideas might divide people. So let's just be gentle. Let's be soft. Let's talk about some maybe incrementalism. Maybe we don't even need to talk about policy. Like in that Onion article about Pete Buttigieg, where he has a picnic and discourages all policy talk. That's an Onion article. Although when he makes statements like this, that Onion article, kind of the truth, right? All right. But starting around here, this is where he starts to nail it. He's referring to Joe Biden here. And here's what he says about the status quo and part of the reason why we are where we are. He nails it here. Ironically enough, he also gives a great sales pitch for not voting for him and for voting for Bernie Sanders. He also indirectly gives a great sales pitch for why he should. I mean, he is a centrist, middle of the road, status quo corporate candidate. And he realizes that's not what we need. He straight up realizes he might. I mean, if he was being totally honest, the way he would end this segment would be, and by the way, you shouldn't vote for me because I let Wall Street dictate my policies. And I know that's not what we need because here he is right here saying that this is not what we need. Lucy, are you bailing? All right. Here we go.
Is going to be a message that'll hit people well, certainly where I come from in the industrial Midwest.
So he's basically saying the vice president saying things are just going to go back to normal. That's not going to roll with people. People aren't going to be thrilled about that, especially in the Midwest.
There are a lot of people who voted for this current president, not because they think he's a good guy, but because normal wasn't working for them, and they were ready to more or less vote to burn the house down. If all we have to offer is hey, let's dial it back and go back to what we were doing. If it feels like we're looking to the past, I think that message is going to come up short when we get to Election Day.
He nailed it. He nailed it. That is 100% correct what he just said. 100% correct what he just said. Don't agree with Pete Buttigieg on a lot, but right there, that's 100% true. Now, so Pete Buttigieg knows what the problem is. He knows that so many people, they voted for Obama thinking their lives were going to get better. And then Obama continued the same neoliberal policies because Obama, by his own admission, said, I'm a moderate Republican. That's not me saying something bad about Obama. That's what Obama said about himself. And it's the truth. Obama admits to that. So Pete Buttigieg knows what we need. He knows that we need a bold vision forward, that we need a sharp turn. He's not offering it. He knows we need it. He knows that the status quo has failed. He knows that a lot of people took a chance on Trump, not because they thought Trump was a good dude, but because they bought the same Washington insider nonsense for so long. Some of them probably voted for Clinton and then gave Bush a shot and then took a chance on Obama. Some of them might have voted straight Republican or straight Democrat. And the status quo, as usual, was not making their lives any better. So they took a chance on this faux outsider, Donald Trump. He's not an outsider. It's all fake. The only way he's an outsider is he talks meaner. He talks meaner. And instead of being somebody inside as a politician, he was the person buying the politicians. It's the only difference. That's not an outsider. But he branded himself as an outsider, and it worked. And people took a chance on that. And Pete Buttigieg knows that that's what people want. They want a sharp change. And he's not offering it. Why isn't he offering it? If he knows that that's what people want, if he knows that's what this country needs, why isn't he offering that? Why isn't he actually offering progressive policies? Well, because of this. Because he knows where his funding comes from. And the only reason he's still in this race at all is because of the high dollar donations that he gets and the dinners that he throws. So Pete Buttigieg nailed it on the problem. And Pete Buttigieg basically unintentionally gave a ringing endorsement for not voting for him and gave a ringing endorsement for supporting Bernie Sanders.
Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and